Hey guys, welcome to my busy desk area. I've got a pen mail day today. Wanted to share with you some, just break it up a little bit, do it a little differently. Wanted to share with you something, the first thing that I had gotten, and I hadn't shared with this here with you recently because totally forgot about it. But within about the last week or so, I picked up this. I found it for like $6 or so, and a couple of old nibs for vintage fountain pens. So hey, signature fountain pen, points, not nibs is what they call it, but originally sold for 10 cents. Okay, well, $6 including shipping or so. Well, I figured I'd give it a shot. Why not? So I've got that, and I can tell you that I don't know if it was the seller or if it was a home that it sat in. You could definitely tell it was not a smoke-free home, because when I first got it, I was like, whoo! I don't smoke, never have, can't stand the smell, and I'm really sensitive to the odor. Let's see, next thing I got, Medford. Medford was a third-tier manufacturing fountain pen brand, probably from the 30s and 40s, and I can't find a whole lot of information on the company, but the one thing I did find, somebody said it was a brand manufactured for Rexall pens, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm not really seeing that whatsoever. From what I can see, I did a little bit of more research because I've got some pens by Rexall. I've got a Belmont, a beautiful jade Belmont that was sold in Rexall stores, which is one of the brands that they contracted to be made for them, and the other was Monogram. Those are the only two brands I've actually found that were made for Rexall drugstores. We had a Rexall Drugs in my hometown. Very familiar with the that store. 1920s or 1910s they started out, and they eventually franchised the drugstore out. But this is a Medford. It was restored by the seller, so I got it fairly inexpensively because it's kind of an off-brand that nobody really knows much about. It's a very thin lever filler pen, but it had a kind of a nice, pretty celluloid. So I figured, what the heck? There's the Medford name on there, and I'm using a slightly different camera, so I'm not as used to this one. But, all in all, it's kind of nice. I have not inked it up. I did get this today, but I'll be playing with this one in just a little while. And I don't know if I'll do any video on this or not, but you can search online, eBay and Etsy. Sometimes you can find ones that have been restored that should be ready to write fairly inexpensively if you want to stick with third-tier manufacturers, lower name pens that are probably perfectly serviceable and usable, just not very well known. So that's some advice I've given previously and shared previously in other videos, something to look out for. All right, I got a pen today in the mail that I had worked out a deal. A friend of mine, who is also a pen collector, pen enthusiast, and YouTube video reviewer, contacted me wanting to know if I still had a particular pen in my collection. And I said, yeah, I got it. So he proposed a few different pens that he wanted to, well, number one, a purchase price, or would I be open to a swap? And I said, well, make me some offers. So we went through some pens. Nah, I got that one. How about this one? Nah, I got one of those too. So finally he proffered a pen that I figured, all right, it's close enough in value, and it's something that I had been watching for a while. Actually seen them at pen shows. I didn't like the prices that they were trying to get at the shows that I'd been to, but OMAS, Officina Mechanical Armando Simoni, if memory serves correctly, OMAS. Started in 1925 by Armando Simoni, Italian guy. And they were in business up until, I thought, the early 2000s, somewhere in there. So, a 360. I've got several OMASs in my collection. This is my fourth OMAS pen. And they are known to be quality in general. I've got an OMAS that I absolutely love, smooth, fantastic writing pen. I've got an OMAS that is not real big fan of a skinny Rinascimento, but my Bologna Caramello, kind of like it. So I kept my eye on these 360s. Kind of like them, kind of like the look, the triangular cut of these, the design, the silver clip, and of course you've got the kind of that Greek pattern going on there that you have often with OMAS. So my buddy still had the box that it came in the paperwork with it. I still had the box for my pen. I always keep those for just such an occasion, and I was able to use it for this occasion. But this is the 360 Mezzo fountain pen, and it is in a medium nib. And so it came in the box. And like I said, I'm actually, I think, at least the third person to own this pen, because he got it from somebody else. So, it came in an OMAS presentation box, and little bed that it sits in, and there was some paperwork that's still in there, booklet went with it, and it even came with a box of OMAS ink cartridges. Why is that important on this particular pen? Well, the 360 Mezzo is a cartridge only pen. You cannot use a converter with this particular pen. Not my favorite methodology, but okay, I'll give it a shot. So slip cap, got that triangular grip. If you don't like a triangular grip, you're not going to like the 360 because the entire pen's a triangle. But you twist the back in, the little blind cap, and you can see that that extends and an ink cartridge sits in there, so you cannot put a converter in it. Ta-da! So I went ahead and inked it up with a Diamine Sapphire Blue ink cartridge that I've got. And there you go. And I got that ink cartridge out of one of these boxes that my buddy included with some Standard International, some Diamine inks. So thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's see. Another thing I got today. Somebody online I have seen and never purchased from. Been following them a lot on Facebook groups for fountain pens. Seen his stuff on eBay for a while. I had not purchased from this guy, but I've been following, however, on Instagram, some pictures people have posted, and have been really, really happy with Mike Daigle, who is a guy who not only is, I understand, a collector, but takes them in, refurbishes pens, and turns around and sells a lot of them. I took a chance on this one here. It is at least a century old, and I showed you a little earlier my Waterman 12 that I got. That was an old hard rubber, and it had a mottled red to it. But this particular one is essentially the same concept. It is an eyedropper pen that's at least a century old, probably from the 1910s or so. And I got another one here somewhere in my collection that's kind of a no-name brand. So Mike had this one. He restored it. It's got this, this gold overlay on top of black, smooth, hard rubber, and it's a slip cap. It's got a little nib on here. He said that this nib was not original to the pen, that he put in a new nib because it had an old steel nib, and this gold nib that he put on here instead, I guess to increase the value, to make it worth owning, went ahead and did that during his restoration process. And it is an eyedropper pen. So much like that Waterman 12, you would just pull this out and you pour out the ink. I haven't inked it up yet. So don't know how it writes yet, don't know how it acts, because I just got it in the mail just a wee little bit ago. I did ink up that OMAS because I could throw in a cartridge easy enough. I didn't feel like playing with this one yet, or the Medford yet. Both of those also came, so I got 3 pens in the mail today. Last but not least is not necessarily mail, but it is something for you as a tip if you are in the market for some stuff. I had previously gone to a local office supply store that was going out of business. Our local Office Max here in my town, or actually it's just past the town line into the next town, The only office supply store within like 22, 25 miles of here is going out of business. Tomorrow is the last day and they close the doors forever. Went there several weeks ago. I picked up a Star Wars Schaefer BB-8 Schaefer Pop fountain pen on clearance. It wasn't really clearance priced yet, but they had a bunch of them left. And actually, I was kind of hoping to find those today because we were driving by, 80% off everything store-wide, sometimes 90% off. Well, previously it was 30 up through 70, depending upon what it was. They still had all the stuff. Well, now they've got like almost nothing. They got one aisle. That's it. Just one aisle left, and they're selling all the fixtures and everything. So everything's out of the store. It's almost an empty shell. Went in today, said, let's see what we can find. So I picked up a few documents or a certificate paper in case I want to do some certificates for some of the kids that I teach, or accomplishments and that kind of thing, or just to have on hand should I ever need a certificate kind of paper. But went shopping today, and when I told you about the Schaefer Pop, if you are in the market for ink cartridges, generally for Schaefer, you can find them at your local Office Max or your local office supply store. So I went ahead and stopped by there today. I think that's all that's in the bag. Yep. So I've got my receipt sitting here on the desk, and it is actually, oh, there it is right there, under some of the stuff that I just showed you. For all the stuff that I'm about to show you, $12.03. Okay? Cross fountain pens. I got the last 3 cross fountain pen converters that they had. I've got some cross pens. I think I've got a couple of them that take cross cartridges only because I didn't have converters for them. I do now. So I think these cross converters on clearance, looking at my receipt here, $1.60. $1.60 a piece. Normally these are like $16 or so when you go to buy them online, maybe a little less. So for $1.60 a piece, I got some of those. And speaking of Schaefer pens, I picked up about 4. I picked up 4 things of Schaefer cartridges. Normally, I don't even bother. I found some cartridges fairly cheap for Schaefer that were on clearance from some other companies, and there were ink colors I wouldn't really normally use. Here I've got some blues and one multicolored. They still had a buttload of these left. So I'm deciding, trying to hem and haw over to whether or not I want to go back and get these particular things. But looking here, let's see, 78 cents a piece. 78 cents a piece because, 80% off. So go figure. So I got 4 of those. And for cross, I also got a thing of ink cartridges, the long cartridges. Normally I got the short cartridges from Cross that I've got here, but these are long cartridges. And then, see all these ink samples up here? What some people like to do is they like to put some of these reinforcements on the top and then ink swab it so you can see what the color looks like that's inside the vial, because even by the description you can't always tell. I've done that to a good many of these. I have not done it to all of them, and I've got some of these quite honestly in my drawer, but I figured for originally $4.39, I figured let's take a whole lot of money off from that, and it was like, oh gee whiz, I think it was like $1.57 for a box of these. So anyway, that's my pen mail day, pen acquisition, pen supply day. That's about it. Another thing for you guys, remember, the t-shirts, the Fountain Pen Fanatic t-shirts that I've been telling you about are readily available. I've kept the price really low on those, about as low as they're going to let me. So if you like a Fountain Pen Fanatic shirt, feel free to go to the link at the bottom, the description. I'm going to put in the description. Also, if you are interested in a discount on your pens for vintage, I worked out a deal with antiquedigger.com. Follow the link. I tell you, or just go to antiquedigger.com and use the promo code TROY, T-R-O-Y, at checkout, and you'll get a discount off all your purchases from antiquedigger.com. So, maybe you can go there and you can have a good pen mail day today too. Alrighty, thank y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.